and about that whole belief triad that really helps you unlock what needs to happen during that sales process. When you are making a presentation to a client about your services, is what's going through their mind is not, is Rebecca worth $40,000? They're not thinking that. I'm not going to be thinking that. What I'm going to be thinking when I'm going to make an investment like that is, am I Miriam worth spending $40,000 to get this job done? Is my time worth it? Am I worth it? I, the customer. And that's more of an extension on believing in your customer. Because if you're over here rattling away about why your services are so worth it, blah, 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 you're talking about yourself, blah, blah, blah. And they're over here thinking, yeah, but I don't know if I should spend that on myself.
You're now listening to Design Curious, a place where you, creative one, are here to learn about what it really is like to be an interior designer. And I'm your host and mentor, Rebecca Ward. If you're worried about how to succeed in a creative career, if you're ready to learn your next steps to become an interior designer, and if you want the satisfaction of doing something you love every day, you are in the right place. Grab a coffee, a notebook, and let's dig into today's episode. Hello, and welcome to episode 188 of Design Curious Podcast. Today on the podcast, I have Miriam Schulman. She is a luxury market messaging and pricing strategist for creative entrepreneurs. She's also the author of Artpreneur, the step-by-step guide to making a sustainable living from your creativity. And she's the host of the Inspiration Place podcast, which is top 1% globally, with features in Forbes, Entrepreneur, Igniting Creativity, and Where Women Create. Miriam helps creative entrepreneurs position their work as premium and reassuringly expensive so that they attract clients who value taste, certainty, and execution, not discounts. So I think you're going to enjoy the conversation with Miriam, talking all about creative careers and all that's involved with that. So let's get into it. Hi, Miriam. Welcome to Design Curious Podcast. It's great to have you on today.
Well, thanks for having me, Rebecca. It's such an honor to be here.
Yes, and I'm very excited to talk with you because you have such an important message for creatives, artists, interior designers, which is applied arts. So why don't you tell us, first of all, I know you have a lot of things going on and we'll talk all about that too, but first of all, how did you get into this position where you're at, where you can help people with their mindset?
Okay. So I'm going to try to make the long story shorter. So I always wanted to be an artist, like many people who are listening right now, but I was told you couldn't make a living that way. And I believed them. So I took the practical route. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
And I went to work for Wall Street. Not exactly creative, but lots of money. And after 9/11 happened, I knew I couldn't go back to that world. And that's when I quit my job. I was pregnant with my second child. I still didn't believe I could make a living from my art, though. So I was painting on the side. I took a job at a gym as a Pilates instructor. But while working with the gym, they were teaching me how to sell personal training packages. And that's when I had my aha moment, because I saw that what they were teaching me, I could use to sell anything, including my art, or as we're going to talk about today, including interior design services, because sales is just sales. Now, that was over 25 years ago. And about 2018 is when I started my podcast. And people said, Miriam, would you show me how to do this? So within a year of starting my podcast, I also started a coaching program. So I've been coaching other artists for about the last 6 years as well.
Great. So what's the name of your podcast so we can check it out?
The Inspiration Place.
Fun. I like that.
So wherever you're listening to Design Curious, you'll be able to find The Inspiration Place.
Wonderful. Great. We'll put a link to that too so people can check that out. So you've been coaching and podcasting now for many years.
Yeah.
26 now.
Yeah. And now we've started really diving into YouTube, which I'm really enjoying that community. So, because as you know, Rebecca, with a podcast, you don't necessarily get the feedback. And on YouTube, I can talk to my audience. So I find that super fun. And I can show them pictures of what we're talking about. Yeah.
Really fun. So why don't you kind of walk through maybe what are the main hangups that you're seeing creatives struggle with as they are trying to approach a passion career,
Okay. It's the same whether we're talking about visual artists like that I work with, interior decorators, and really, to be quite frank, most other beginning entrepreneurs as well. The same things come up over and over again. I think the biggest hurdle to get over is that cheaper is easier to sell. It is not. That's a myth. Do you want to go there first?
Yes, let's do that because I think there's a lot to uncover there.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So there's really two things that will help people understand why cheaper is not easier to sell. The first thing is that if you're talking about a product, let's say a loaf of bread. Now, some people think, oh, if I price it less, maybe they'll want mine more. Well, if you're talking about Wonder Bread versus Petridge Farm, yeah, maybe if one is cheaper, you might be more inclined to buy it. But if you're bringing a loaf of bread over to a dinner party, you're probably not going to want to bring the loaf of bread you bought at the supermarket for what do you think a loaf of, I don't know what a loaf of bread costs, like $6.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's going to be cheaper at a supermarket than if you go to a bakery. Like a bakery, it's probably $20, right? But you're not thinking, oh, but I really want that cheap Wonder Bread. No, you're going to the bakery. You're spending that because you don't want to look foolish. You want to present, you want an experience. It tastes better. It's a better thing. But there's lots of examples like that in our lives where we're not comparing the prices of two things to make a decision. Like you would never say, no, I really should bring over the loaf of Wonder Bread instead of, going to the bakery.
Yeah.
You're just not.
No.
Okay. So maybe for the class mom, you might bring the Entenmann's instead of slaving all day. That's like the whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. But if there's other places too, like if you're hiring a babysitter, are you looking for the cheapest babysitter? No, you're not.
No,
you're not saying, right. Or your fur baby. If your fur baby needs some sort of expensive surgery, your vet says it's going to be $2,000. You're not going to go look for someone who can do for $97.
No.
So we do that a lot of times in our businesses. We think people are going to make a decision based on price. They're not going to trust you as much if you're so much lower than everybody else. It's like wine. They're going to assume the more expensive wine is better. That's mindset shift number one about cheaper is not easier to sell.
Yeah. And I think also what we run up against designers often, especially when you're starting out, you're trying to get more clients and maybe you're having a slump and the first thing you think is like, oh, I'm too expensive. I need to lower my prices,
Yeah, no. Okay. So that's the first thing. But the second thing, and this is less about how much you're charging, but how you're presenting your services. So I'm going to make this very applicable to interior designer and decorators. People are looking for the biggest transformation. So interior decorators are saying, I charge whatever it is, $60 an hour, $150 an hour. That is not as appealing necessarily as somebody who's going to say, for $3,000, I'm going to give you a design plan that covers all these things. Because people are looking for what's going to give them the biggest transformation. So even though it's $3,000 versus, well, could I get away with just a couple of hours? They don't know what they're going to get for those few hours.
Right. Yes.
So to make this a little clearer, especially for people who are in like my type of world, physical products, and I always like to use the furniture example. So it's so funny that I'm here today. So artists like to think, oh, it's easier to sell a $400 small painting than it is to sell a painting for $5,000. And so I say to them, is it? Because if somebody had an empty living room, they're probably going to buy the $5,000 sofa before they buy the $400 end table. So again, they're not making a decision based on, oh, this is $5,000 versus $400. They're saying, what is going to make the biggest impact right now? and a
Mm-hmm.
piece of art that goes over that sofa, even if it's a few $1,000s, they rather have that and spend the money on that than a $400 painting that goes in their bathroom.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point. Really good. Yeah. And oftentimes the consumer is making more of an emotional decision than just a logical one, too. So it's appealing to that, like you said, the $3,000 gets them the transformation. Like that's what they're wanting to feel at the end of it, right? They have that kind of guarantee that that's going to happen.
Exactly. And so, maybe, and I'm making numbers up because
Yeah.
that's not my world, but like maybe it's $3,000 for a design package for one room. Is it $10,000 or $15,000? Are you going to do my whole house for me? Well,
Mm-hmm.
I much rather do that, because I'm going to get everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think what's going to give them the biggest transformation. Don't be afraid to offer that. So one thing I want to jump to that I talk about in my book is the belief triad. Can we talk about
Okay.
the belief triad? Because this is really important. Okay.
Let's
So
do
the
it.
belief triad, there's three things. One is belief in yourself. We've
Mm-hmm.
heard that. Everyone who's come on the podcast has probably said, you have to believe in yourself and you have to believe in your art or your skills or your design. The third part that I never heard anybody else talk about, so this is why I wrote about it in Entrepreneur, is belief in your customer. Now, this is what it
What do you
looks
mean?
like. Yes. So remember the scene in Pretty Woman where Julia Roberts goes to Rodeo Drive and those mean salespeople won't wait on her
Mm-hmm.
because they don't think she has the money. And we all think we're not that mean salesperson. But every time we're judging our customer by thinking, oh, they won't go for $15,000 and you don't even discuss that with them, whatever that big package is, you don't
Mm-hmm.
offer that big transformation, you are acting like a mean salesperson. You're not believing in the customer. So you have to believe in the customer more than they do in themselves.
Mm.
And so that is really part of that whole pricing trilogy is
Mm-hmm.
one, understanding that people think more expensive is better. People want the bigger transformation and they want you to believe in them.
Yeah. That's an interesting approach. I hadn't heard that before. So I like that. Yeah. Believe in the customer and let them make the decision too of like what they can afford and like, or show them more than what they think and let them explore it, but not like making that judgment ahead of time for them.
Right. Don't be judgy. Don't
Mm-hmm.
be like the mean salespeople. Like, let them see everything you've got.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Okay. So we're going to find this in your book. It's called Artpreneur.
Artpreneur. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not here to sell books to you today because you can get it at your local library.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's published by HarperCollins. You can get it from your library. You can get the ebook.
Awesome. Cool. All right. So what are some other pitfalls that we find with creatives?
Okay. So staying on that same vein about trusting our customer, one thing and about that whole belief triad that really helps you unlock what needs to happen during that sales process when you are making a presentation to a client about your services is what's going through their mind is not, is Rebecca, can you give me some real numbers? I'm not just pulling out fake numbers from a hat. What would be like a number that somebody would charge for a design package?
Most average ones are about 40,000 for
Okay,
the
there we
projects
go.
I do. Yeah.
Okay, so I was way off. All right. So let's say the customer is not thinking, is Rebecca worth $40,000? They're not thinking that. I'm not going to be thinking that. What I'm going to be thinking when I'm going to make an investment like that is, am I Miriam worth spending $40,000 to get this job done? Is my time worth it? Am I worth it? I, the customer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's more of an extension on believing in your customer. Because if you're over here rattling away about why your services are so worth it, blah, 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 you're talking about yourself, blah, blah, blah. And they're over here thinking, yeah, but I don't know if I should spend that on myself.
Yeah. That's a good point. Like I hadn't thought of it from the client's perspective of like they're spending that money on themselves. I mean, obviously we're improving their space and everything, but It is a choice. Like you would, like if you're going to get a massage or something and you went like the full package of like $600 or whatever it is, you're like, I deserve this. This is worth my time. It's going to make me feel better. It's going to improve, like all the things that just thinking about myself and not really like the service provider,
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it's not always even the exact words that you say.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have that in Artpreneur. I have an overcoming objections chart where I say, this is what the client is saying, but this is actually what might be going through their mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then I give you some like ideas and scripts of how to get over it. But it's not even the exact words. If you have that attitude, that energy, when you're having those conversations with them about how and you're feeling good about them and you love your buyer, you love that client and you just want this for them because you love them so much, that's going to come across.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like you're in it to help them.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what you're selling.
Yes. So a couple of other examples that will bring this home. Nike, when you look at commercials, they're not selling sneakers. They're selling motivation.
Just do it.
Right. That's what they're actually selling.
Yeah.
Right. The hair care L'Oreal, they got this slogan. They got this right a long time ago. Their main competitor was Clairol. Clairol's hair color slogan was like, oh, does she or doesn't she? And L'Oreal knew they were more expensive. So that's when they came out, I'm worth it.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. So it's less talking about, like Nike's not saying we make shoes that last forever, or like we make them the best shoe around. They're not even talking about the product.
They're not talking about the product.
Yeah.
They're just selling motivation. And that's what a lot of people do wrong is if you're selling a trip to Hawaii, don't tell them how many people fit on the plane.
Yeah.
But that's what we do,
Right.
Like we end up doing that. Like, oh, well, with this, package, you get blah, 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 blah. No. Sell them on Hawaii. How amazing Hawaii is, how warm it is in Hawaii, how good they're going to feel in Hawaii.
Yeah. The dream. Yeah. I don't know why. Why is there that disconnect between, because like creatives can envision and dream and like have these great ideas, but then when it comes to getting someone to purchase that from them, like all of a sudden it's all bottled up and we like, say the wrong thing.
So I'm going to get a little woo for a moment. Is that okay? All right. In our soul, we have like 4 components and half of it is the creative side. And that is concerned about the how and the what. And as creatives, we live in that how and what. The other half is the who and the why. But here's the key difference. So I want the listeners to hear me. It's not your why. It's not I love designing. It's your customer's why. Why do they want this? That's what you have to tap into. That's what Nike got right. Nike knows that it's really hard to motivate yourself to run.
Yeah.
No matter how good your sneakers are.
Right. Oh, okay. I love that. Really good. Thanks, Miriam. So I think there's a lot to be learned from you. And so let's share where listeners can find you. Where do you like to hang out?
Well, I'm really having a lot of fun on YouTube now, as I said. So I'm the inspiration place there. And I would love to know what the designers in the community think about I know this is not coming out till April, but I posted videos earlier in the year about 2026 design trends and how they affect the art market and what collectors are wanting right now. I would love for your community to weigh in.
Yeah.
And if you disagree with me, I love that even more. I welcome all the opinions. So if you like what you heard today, come find me over on the Inspiration Place on YouTube.
Yeah, I love placing art in clients' homes, like getting some, not reproduced art, but reproduced art is fine too. But like, custom art, one of a kinds, just to tangent into that area. Like, do you work with your artists to like reach out to interior designers to place art, or do they usually reach out to more the end user?
Yeah, so there's a mixture within my community. I do have some artists who do work, have relationships with interior decorators. One artist who does digital work and she reproduces it on metal, and she has some really great relationships. Many of my artists who are doing more original work, they're forming a relationship more with the collectors than they
Mm-hmm.
are with interior decorators. It's like a bigger investment. So
That's cool.
with a interior designer, unless it's like there's going to be the same aesthetic over and over again. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. And I think that there's a lot of designers and decorators who also like to do art, like as their their pastimes. Like they'll
mm,
find other creative. I'm always encouraging designers to do like other creative outlets in order to spark inspiration for the applied arts of the interiors. And so I think there's a lot of good crossover there for artist application. So definitely going to check out your book, Artpreneur. And I love what you had to say. Is there anything else you want to share with listeners who are up and coming designers, new entrepreneurs, career shifters about the sales
yeah,
sphere?
yeah, especially somebody who is maybe thinking about transitioning from a full-time job to doing something on your own. A lot of times when we're thinking about making a leap like that, we're looking at what the risks of making a change, but there's also risks of staying where you are. So our brains have evolved for survival,
Mm,
not goal achievement.
mm,
So our brain does not want us to leave the cave and get eaten by a tiger. But don't forget, there are snakes in the cave too.
yeah.
And any woman who has worked in corporate knows exactly what I'm talking about. But just know whenever you feel uncomfortable, whether that's raising your prices, asking for a sale, making an offer for like your biggest package, whatever that thing is, that your brain will come up with all kinds of reasons why it's a terrible idea and you should
Hmm.
never ever do this. And the more creative you are and the smarter you are, the better you are at coming up with these stories about why it's a bad idea. Now, notice I didn't say excuses
Hmm.
because it does not feel like an excuse. It feels real to you. But just know that's your brain's way of keeping you safe.
Hmm.
And that's at the risk of your dreams
Yeah. Being an entrepreneur is a lot of risk taking and stepping out into new territory.
and being
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Yes. So having to get comfortable with that uncomfortableness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh, I love that, Miriam. Thank you so much for coming on today and sharing. And I'm definitely going to include links to you so that people can find you and check you out and weigh in on your takes on the decorating direction for 26. So we'll see what we have to say.
Yeah. And I love your designs. I was looking at your Instagram page right before going live. I
Hmm.
love your soft, like gray blue palette. It's
Oh,
really
thanks.
spoke to me. It's beautiful.
Yeah, blue is one of my favorites. And so I think I get a lot of clients who also like blue. And so it's just a self-perpetuating circle of like a lot of blue in my portfolio. But I love all color. I'm not afraid of it to incorporate it, but not like in a, I think that my approach to it in my design is a little bit different than some. It's not a maximalist color, but it's definitely there and throughout all of the designs. So yeah,
Yeah.
have fun. Well, thank you, Miriam. It's great talking with you, and we'll talk soon.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
So if you'd like to reach out with Miriam or listen to her podcast or get her book, we have links for you in the show notes to find that. And don't forget that if you would like some help getting into the career of interior design, I have my design mentor available to you as an online mentorship platform. There's some learning modules in there, but then you can also schedule one-on-one time with me to help you with whatever specific issue or learning that you want to have for the career. So that's my design mentor. And then we're going to have another boot camp coming up in July and August. So we have the summer session and the winter one we had earlier this year was so successful. I'd love for you to get in there. If you're thinking about starting your business, we can get you launched in 8 weeks. And it's just one of the most useful things you can do. I'm holding your hand the entire way. So you're not in it alone, and you've got other people in the class to go compare notes and to kind of create a community for you as you're all starting your businesses together, which is great. Okay, you can find all that information in the show notes. Next week, I'll have another great episode for you. And until then, stay creative. Thanks for listening. If you love this episode, please leave a rating and a review. This helps me reach other curious creatives like you. If you have a topic request or would like to contact me, simply head over to my website, rwarddesign.com, or email me at podcast@rwarddesign.com.